Hi there, welcome to another session of math problem solving. And today we have an interesting problem, something that's quite often in many Olympiad problems for middle school. So, this is a clock, an analog clock. The time is 4:42 a.m. And you need to find out what's the angle between the hour and the minute hand. Okay, so if you understand a model of how to calculate this, it would be helpful in solving pretty much most problems. So you can pause the video here and see if you can try and solve it by yourself. And then you can check the answer later as I explain it with the method and the model. All right, so the first step is let's observe the clock, right? There's, just don't worry about the time, don't worry about the needle, just look at the entire clock. So what you would observe is there's a number on the inner circle which goes from 1 to 12. This is the hours, indicated the hours. And then there's an outer circle on the orange rim which goes from 0 all the way to 55 and eventually 60. So the outer rim indicates the minutes and the inner rim indicates the hours. So the black smaller minute hand, the hour hand is related to the black numbers, which is from 1 to 12, and the longer orange minute hand is related to the orange rim. So that's how you would want to read the time. So this basically says the time is between 4 and 5, so it's 4 o'clock. But the minute hand says it's 42, and therefore it's 4:42. So this is how one reads the time, which I'm sure you're aware of. But just for the sake of completeness, now the question is, how do you think about the angle? Now let's take, something which is the bare minimum. Like let's say 60 minutes have elapsed. So on the left you have 3 o'clock, and that's how it's going to look. And the right you have 4 o'clock, which means 60 minutes have elapsed. And they look very, very similar, but a lot has changed. For example, even though both the minute hands are indicating the same place, it's actually 360 degrees apart. Right? So remember, intelligence is knowing the difference between similarities and similarities between differences. So this is the difference. The minute hand, though, has moved from pointing to 3 to pointing to 4. So now first, let's try and understand something extremely basic. Okay, so let's go from 3 to 4 and let's look at how the angles have changed. So the time, 60 minutes have elapsed, and the minute angle has basically moved by 360 degrees, and the hour angle is moved by 30 degrees. How do I know it's 30? Because 360 divided by 12 hours is essentially 30 degrees. Now, this is the one and only thing that you need to remember, because if you do remember this, everything else becomes very, very easy. For example, if I have to figure out the angle for 30 minutes, all I have to do is divide it by 2. The reason for this is the time, the minute angle, and the hour angle are completely in ratio. They need to be in ratio for them to be right, to be cyclical. So if I need to get 10 minutes, then all I have to do is take the 30 minutes and divide it by 3. So 30 by 3 is 10, 180 by 3 is 60, 15 by 3 is 5. If I need to get to 20, all I need to do is take the 10 and double it. I could also take the 60 and divide it by 3. Right? 360 divided by 3 is 120, 30 divided by 3 is 10. So remembering that 60 minutes is 360 degrees for the minute, and 30 degrees for the hour is the fundamental basis from which you can solve pretty much every angle problem on the clock. So let's build a model. The model here is 12 a.m. or 000 is the starting reference point for everything. So now let's go back to solving our problem. 4:42 a.m. What is the angle between them? Let's see. So suppose the time was 00, then the minute angle and the hour angle, with the reference being 0, is also 0 degrees. At exactly 1 a.m., 60 minutes have passed. The minute angle is 360 degrees, but it looks like 0. And that's the reason what you need to do is you need to divide that 360 by 360, and the remainder is going to be the angle that is going to be actually inscribed. So 360 divided by 360, the remainder is 0. So 360 mod 360 is 0. Same thing has to be applied for the hour angle, which is 30 degrees for 1 hour. Mod 360 is also 30. The remainder is 30. Right? So when you go for 4 hours, you know that it's essentially 4 times 60. So it's 240 minutes, which means 360 degrees is also moved 4 times. So 360 times 4 mod 360 again will have a 0 degree. So it's going to come back to the same place. This basically tells you that the minute hand, you don't have to worry about the total number of minutes. You just need to look at how many minutes have passed, elapsed after it has reached 0, 0, right? The hour hand though has shifted, because now for 1 hour it shifted 30 degrees, for 4 hours it have shifted 120. So finally, to get to the answer, 442 basically means 240 minutes in hours and 42 minutes in minutes. So the final angle would essentially be 42 by 60 times 360. Why is that? Because 60 minutes is 360. So what is 42 minutes? It's in ratio. So 42 divided by 60, 360 is going to give you 252, and that's the angle that is inscribed by the minute hand. Similarly, for the hour hand, it's 42 by 60 times 30, because 60 minutes means 30 degrees. So 42 minutes means 42 by 60 times 30. But you also have to add the 120 that's come in before, because remember, the point of reference is always 0, 0. So in total, the angle is 141. So the answer would be the positive value of the difference. So sometimes it's possible that the hour hand has gone beyond the minute hand, and sometimes the hour hand hasn't yet crossed the minute. So in those cases, the angle might be negative if you just do minute minus hour. And that's the reason what you want to do is take only you forget the sign and you just do the modulus of it to get the answer as. I hope this was useful and you'd be able to apply this in many more problems related to time and angles and clocks, because that's a favorite topic for many Olympiad problems. I hope this is useful. This model is something that you can use, utilize, and solve problems. If you've ever been benefited by the videos that I share, please share your comments, and that would be wonderful. Click on subscribe, click on the bell icon so that I can see